So it's actually not that strange for the cult leader to kind of disappear and not be seen by his followers for a long, long time, which is apparently what's going on with Chris Butler, who is the leader of the cult that Tulsi Gabbard is in. And I made a video about that yesterday if you want to go check it out. I'm Daniella, scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leadership. I wrote a book called Uncultured about growing up in the Children of God religious cult and going into the cult of the U.S. Army. And you can get signed copies here. Now, in the Children of God religious cult in the 70s, our cult leader got smart to things heating up for cults in the 70s. And he conveniently got a revelation from Jesus that they should go spread his good news around the world. Which, of course, changing your names and moving to developing nations is a great way to evade the FBI. Just worked out. And at that point, he started living in hiding. And there's several reasons why this works. One is the persecution complex, right? So he was living in hiding because the outside world is out to get him, which was true, but it was because he was a PDFophile and needed to be in jail. So he starts living completely in hiding. They called it Selah. Selah was like secret. And then all of his leadership homes, communes, soon were also living in hiding. And so from the 70s until his death in 1996, most of the 10,000 members of the Children of God never saw him. We heard his recorded voice all the time because cult leaders love to record everything they say, written down or spoken. We got all of these instructions. He ran every single part of our life. Grandpa, Mo, the prophet, right? Like, he was the leader of our lives, but nobody saw him. And in fact, when he was getting close to leaving this world for his own promised space travel, as we know, cults are always promising space travel, something that you're going to achieve in another life, in another plane, in another dimension, in another body, on another planet. Elon Musk. And so he actually told his consort who was going to be taking over, he was like, just don't tell anyone I died. Just keep this going because you can. So that's another reason that cult leaders are often hidden away. We see this in Genevieve Turner's When the World Didn't End, that their cult leader had passed on years before, but his wife just kept it going, like using that authority, which, by the way, is called charisma by proxy. Charismatic authority is when you grant someone the leadership over you. It has nothing to do with being charming, though they usually are, in order to convince you to grant them leadership. And then charismatic authority is when a group is ruled by committee, or they get their charisma through Jesus or through someone else or through the cult leader. JW's looking right at you. Okay, so keeping the leader removed from the group also increases the gravity of everything, right? Like, oh, the leader, then he barely comes around, or only the special people see him, right? It's a part of the deification, the becoming godlike of the cult leader. You don't see God around all the time also, right? I also think there's just this little thing of they're hiding from work. They get too busy. They understand that they built this cult so they can have a lot of power, but it's still a lot of work for them. Very similar to how Donald Trump did not actually enjoy being the president that much because he didn't realize how much work he would be expected to do. And we're, of course, going to see that again. Always finding a way to keep themselves on screens or in the ears, the eyes somehow of their followers, but not actually being there and present. And by the way, I don't think it's the worst thing that the cult leader is often off somewhere, not being seen by people, because I think if we had all been in one place with David Berg instead of spread all over the world, we would have ended a lot more like Jonestown than we did.